Welcome back to this second tutorial of using StreamYard for worship. If you have not watched the first video, you'll want to pause this one and go back and watch the first one. That walks you through all the basics of setting up your destinations to live stream to, as well as using the broadcast studio and creating your broadcast so that it will auto-generate a post either to Facebook or YouTube where you're streaming from. So go watch that first and then come back to this one. Now in this second video, we're going to go into the studio and we're going to look at two additional features that are really great about StreamYard. So let's go ahead and go into the broadcast studio just like we did before on our already created broadcast. We'll get there. Now it's back to the screen like before, making sure that we put our display name in, making sure our camera and our microphone are working. And I'm going to enter the broadcast studio. So just a reminder, we always need to come over here, add ourselves to the stream so that our congregation can see us when we go live. So go ahead and add ourselves to the stream. Now in this video, we're going to talk about two features that StreamYard has. So this would be the benefit of using StreamYard over just simply live streaming from Facebook, because they've got a platform now where you can, easily stream from Facebook. If you just want your congregation to see you, then there would be no need for this third-party browser-based program called StreamYard. But if you want to take your video to the next level, we want to use these additional features that StreamYard offers, which is sharing our screen, which offers some variations of what that view looks like in your stream, which is more than what you can do on Facebook. And also you can invite guests. If you want to have someone assisting you in leading worship or to lead a part of your worship service, they don't even have to be in the same room as you. They can get on even with just their phone. I did fail to mention the first video that when you are using StreamYard and you're doing this kind of production part of the video too, you do want to be on a regular computer or a laptop, but not a smartphone. You do need to have a kind of bigger screen in order to see all the features. And so the first thing we're going to talk about is sharing our screen. This lets us show some material on the screen. So maybe you want to share some liturgy, a prayer, an image that maybe you're preaching about. You could also, I'll show you how to use slides, and you could put videos in there or audio songs. And so the first thing we do to get that set up is we go down here to the share screen button. And we're going to click on that. It's going to pop up this box. Let me drag my video out of the way. And so it has some tips that it shows every single time unless you click on this box so that it doesn't. It does say that sharing a screen is easiest with two monitors. That would allow you to have your whole StreamYard tab open in one monitor, and then whatever you're sharing in a second monitor, it just makes it easier to see. But you don't have to. If you have just a laptop, you can do all this in one screen. That's what I do all the time. It's just a matter of moving your windows around so that you can see both things. We do want to use a good computer so that its screen is shared well and it looks great. And also we'll talk in a minute about this sharing audio box. So you can also click on this if you don't want it to pop up every time, but we're going to click on share screen again. And now it's going to give us options of what we want to share. So if you're doing worship, you're probably not going to want this entire screen being shared because they're going to see all the parts of StreamYard, including all of these settings, comments. So that's not visually appealing for doing your worship service. But we do want to use either the application window or a Chrome tab. Now the application window, maybe you don't want to do any kind of words. Maybe you just want to share a video during your live stream. And so ahead of time, you'll want to make sure you have that file already opened and ready to go. And then it'll appear here in your application window. You'll just click on that and hit share. And if it senses there's audio in it, it'll give you this box that we'll see on this Chrome tab. So you can also share a tab. I'm going to show two different things. One is a PDF, one is Google Slides. So you'll see this box here for share audio. If I do have audio in whatever I'm sharing, it is wise to go ahead and click this box. And this enables your computer to connect to StreamYard so that the audio is shared internally. That preserves the quality of the audio the best. If you don't click it, it's not the end of the world, but it may add a little bit of distortion to your audio. And the reason is because that means your speakers will be playing the audio, your microphone will be picking up the sound from your speakers, rather than that being kind of more streamlined internally. So that's why it may add a little bit of distortion to your audio. I'm not sharing any audio, so I'm not going to click it right now. But first I want to show you our tabs. So the first tab I'm going to show you is a PDF. We're going to click share. Now you'll notice it's in a different tab. So I'm going to take that tab and I'm going to click on it and drag it up to create a new window. And there's a reason I want to do this. This is because I do not have two screens and I want to be able to see both things at the same time. So I created two windows. That way I can click over onto this one so that I can adjust it. So maybe if I'm using a PDF, I opened it as a Chrome tab, and this gives me the chance to scroll through my PDF. This was originally a document that I just saved as a PDF, so I didn't have all the extra menu stuff across the top. Now you can share a Word document. You could share a Google Doc, but again, it's going to show all that kind of formatting windows and all that, and menus and everything across the top. So this is a little bit cleaner. And so I like it a lot. One thing to be aware, if you come across the top, it is going to pop, open that notification about being a PDF and some of that menu things. The same with if you click on the top and then make sure not to take your browser across it. If you go through the bottom and you go about on the left-hand side, that seems to be the best. It doesn't bring the menu up, but if I come up closer to the right side, it does that again. It's not that distracting, but if you're trying to continue to improve your live stream feed, you may not want it to pop up every single time, simply just by coming up through the bottom on the left side, so that you can drag and scroll through your document. Now, one of the downsides of using a PDF or sharing a tab that has a Word document or some other item in it, is that I do need to be conscious of the size of my window. And I'm going to show you why just now. So if I start manipulating the size of my window, you'll notice that it changes the view in my live stream. Now it does kind of adjust itself, but you have to look, some of my text is cut off over here, so I'm going to have to make the size smaller. But again, it does auto adjust a little bit over here, but it's not as good as it could be using Google Slides. Again, this is a good starting point. Use a PDF, open in a tab, get comfortable with that. And then maybe you want to move to something different that I have found to be the best thing so far. One downside is if you're sharing your screen, you need to stay on the same item, or else you have to click on stop and then reshare your screen selecting a different item. So it's not impossible. It just does take a little time. So you have to be aware that you're leading worship at the same time as you're trying to navigate resharing your screen to a new item. So again, with Google Slides, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull that tab out to create a new window so that I can see both things. And I am going to make my window a bit smaller just so I can see my StreamYard view of what the congregation is going to see. And so one of the benefits of Google Slides that I have found, if you don't know Google Slides and you are clergy, you do have access to using Google Slides because your conference email is a Google type email, and you have a Google Drive there, and you can access Google Docs, Google Slides, and whatever their equivalent of Excel is. So if you're more comfortable in PowerPoint, you can just create your slides or have the slides created in PowerPoint. And then you would just open those slides up using Google Docs instead. The formatting seems to stay exactly the same. The benefit of the slides, as opposed to that PDF that I showed you, is that I can use slides to insert video. I can use the slides to insert audio. And that just kind of opens more possibilities without having to stop sharing my screen and reshare a new item. It's all right there together in the slides. Another feature that I do like about using Google Slides is that when I go into present mode or presentation mode, like it would be in PowerPoint, instead of taking over my entire screen so that I can no longer see StreamYard or make adjustments to my live stream video, it simply stays in the size of the window that I have made, which is really nice. And it's picking up my little video twice, so I apologize for that. But another feature with that is that no matter what size I make my window with these slides, nothing changes over here. It preserves the size that I need right there, and it fills up the space as well as it can, which is a great feature to make it look as best as possible. Now, when I click on the top, all I got to do is use my arrows if it wants to cooperate, and you can arrow through your slides. Again, you could put video on your slides. You could put audio. You may want to set your video to play automatically when you go to that slide. You cannot go into in PowerPoint or Keynote like the Apple version. There's a way to kind of see what slide's coming next. Unfortunately, that's not a presentation feature or an option using Google Slides. But that's using share screen. And you can see that there are some options of the view here once you're sharing a screen, those last three. So I can toggle this on this one. It makes my camera feed bigger and my slides smaller. And it's just an option of how you may want your live stream to look to your congregation. The other one was what kind of automatically pops up when we share screen, which makes my camera small right over here. But it makes my screen really big and makes it easy for my people to see. The last one makes the slides fill up the entire screen, but it does not take me out of the live stream, so you can still be heard. So if you have liturgy or something you want to share, but you don't want to be visible at all, they can still hear you. But if you do have a video or something and you're filling up the entire screen, just know they can hear all the noises still picked up by your microphone, even if you're sharing audio internally. And so the last thing I want to show you now is using, let's see if I can get this back in here. I want to show you now using the guest option for live streaming using StreamYard. So one neat feature, and this is what StreamYard was designed to do, is to invite guests into your live stream who will come in using their own device from their own location, and they can help you lead your worship service. You can interact, have a conversation. You can take your camera view out and just leave theirs in, and it's kind of a neat feature. And so I did not set this up ahead of time, so I'm going to have to type in the code quickly. But once you've created your broadcast on StreamYard, remember there was an option to come over here to the settings, or we can click down here on invite, and it gives me a code. Now this code can then be shared with somebody else, and all they need is their computer. They could also use their cell phone if it's got a great camera and microphone, and they can join you right in your stream with you to help you lead. They do get a view on their side of what the live stream looks like. So all you have to do is share this guest link with them. You do have to, it's a different link for every broadcast. So when you have another live stream that you're going to do, you'll have to get that guest link for that broadcast. But you can have up to 6 people visible in your live stream using StreamYard. I've never had that many while live streaming. I have used it while recording a joint liturgy for our church. And it was really neat to see all the little boxes. Looks a little bit like using Zoom with lots of people. But StreamYard does allow you to have all 10 people actually down here in the studio, but only 6 active in the live stream. So if you're going to have a lot of people that way, you may want to come in and practice. As you can see, we can come in the studio without going live yet, and we can just simply practice all of the features of StreamYard. We could run through our entire service. That way we feel more comfortable when it's time to go live. That's a great option too. And so to demonstrate bringing a guest in, I'm going to mute myself on this so that we don't get any feedback with having 2 devices next to each other. But your guest will get an invitation that looks just like ours when we're ready to go into the broadcast studio. And it'll make sure that if they're using a phone, also that make sure that they're using the correct camera, either the front or the back, depending on how they're using their phone. They also have a display name. And so if you don't want their display name showing up, remember to go ahead and toggle that off under the brand at the very bottom. But they'll get a picture of the live stream, and they'll also get a note on their side that says you're backstage. Only the host can see you. The host may add you at any time, so be ready. So you notice because my phone is now backstage, the image is here, but it's not really vibrant because I have not been added to the live stream yet. And so all you got to do is kind of like with the comments, and when you added yourself, you hover over it. It says add to stream. I'm going to click that. And now we have both here in the live stream, which is pretty cool. It's even more cool when you have somebody else, not just yourself twice. On their side, they continue to see on their device this image, what the live stream looks like. So if you're sharing screen and having guests and you have the screen, your share screen visible in the live stream, they will also get to see those words. And then it also lets them know that they're in the show, meaning that they're live along with you, and it reminds them that everyone can hear and see them. So just to be aware of that as they join the stream. Now, this also gives you more options for view. Again, you can go back to this one, and this gives you kind of the primary view, just you. But the next one puts you side by side. Or if you have more than 2, it'll start making tiles of you all. It might be this one. You'll have to play around with this if you have more than 2 people, just to get a feel for it. And then there's also an option of making you big and then the other folks kind of small. But they can hear you, you can hear them. Again, that's where this private chat feature comes in handy. But again, if you're the one leading worship, just beware that it's hard to type something while you're talking to your congregation. Also, if your mic is on and you're typing, it may be audible. So just be aware of that. You may not want to use that at all for the purposes of live streaming a worship service. But this is the 2 features that are neat about StreamYard. This is how StreamYard was built. It was primarily built for doing this, for sharing your screen and for having remote guests on. So if you think about expanding your worship service to offer other worship leaders along with you, or maybe a guest preacher, someone to lead a portion of your service, whatever you want to do, this is a great reason to use StreamYard instead of just simply live streaming from Facebook directly or to YouTube. But join me in our next video number 3. I'm going to just talk about some little extras that you can do with a paid account and how to continue improving the look of your live stream using StreamYard. So thanks for being with me.